Hey guys, Lincoln here, bringing you another Helldivers 2 video, and today I wanted to share a strategy with you guys for being able to farm the super samples. Those are the purple ones that allow you to get the higher level upgrades for your various different stratagems and abilities on your ship. Of course, you can only get those on missions of Suicide Mission, which is difficulty 7 or above. Those will then appear on the map. However, there's a very easy way to do this solo. I say very easy, right? Things can go wrong, especially if you end up getting swarmed, or we have to do this one on a bot planet because of the specific mission type that it needs to be done on. So I will admit, on my first attempt of getting this recorded, I got absolutely annihilated trying to get into the evacuation craft. And because this mission revolves around you letting the time run out, because completing the actual mission itself solo will be difficult to impossible for most people, and it's not exactly a quick easy farm, right? Because it involves you letting the time run out, you are then unable to respawn. So if you get killed while waiting in those final 2 minutes for the evacuation craft, then it's just instant mission failed and you don't get the samples. So basically, you need to be on the lookout for one of these planets that we show right here, where the it has defend above it, and it has the 2 bars. And this has a very specific mission type available, which is the retrieve essential personnel, and this is the mission that you want to do. The reason why you want to do this mission is because it is a very small map and it has a 15-minute time limit. So we're going to go onto this map. We're going to drop down onto the map. Now, I did set up my loadout here, overlooking a very simple fact as well, that once the time limit runs out for the mission, you lose the ability to call in any stratagems. So while I was picking my equips for this mission, I did bring things like, for example, the smoke airstrike, because I thought that would be helpful to cover my running to the evacuation craft to try and get away at the end. But of course, by the time the evacuation craft is landing, you can't use stratagems, so I unfortunately didn't use that for the end. I did, I think, use it at one point during the mission, because as more enemies start to appear, you kind of want to spend a lot of the time just avoiding enemies. So you can use the smoke strike to kind of get you out of sticky situations, especially if you are fighting bots and bots in the distance start shooting at you. So I brought the shield generator backpack because, again, against bots, getting shot from a distance, having something that will mitigate you taking damage is obviously going to be very useful. Then I have the orbital laser, because if at any point, you know, there is going to be a big group of enemies maybe in front and behind me when I'm trying to maneuver my way around the map, I need a quick and easy way to get rid of them without getting involved in a drawn out fight where I could potentially get killed. And then I did bring the arc thrower, because not only is this a powerful ranged weapon anyway, but you can also use this, instead of using grenades, to blow open those containers that you can find at points of interest that will have medals and super credits and things like that in them. So this is the loadout that I chose. So I dropped down onto the planet, and then when it comes to finding super samples in general, there is an interesting little trick that you can do where you bring up the map and have a look around. It does involve kind of zooming in and having a little bit of a look. That's why on this mission, I find it a lot easier to drop in on the very edge of the map to give yourself a bit more breathing room. And then you can see here, I scroll around the map for a little bit, and at the very top here in this quadrant, I find this, what looks like a silver blob. It's like a silver rock. It kind of stands out a little bit. You have to really get used to looking around on the map to find it, because as you can see, a lot of the other rocks around it are silver or grey as well. But once you find it, if you highlight your cursor over it here on the map, you can see it pops up saying minor point of interest. So I go ahead and tag this and then start making my way over to it. And then once you get there, you will always find on any map where the super samples are, you come across this sort of giant rock. It just looks like a giant, almost like a giant thumb, I guess, sticking up out of the ground. And on any map, regardless of the difficulty, whether you're on Suicide Mission where you can get 3 samples, or on a higher difficulty where there are more samples available, they will all be here around this rock in this one place. They will all be there. So essentially what you need to do is go grab those, pick those up, and then you are going to want to wait for the time limit of the mission to run out. So once the time limit for the mission runs out, you fail the mission, and then the emergency evacuation craft gets called in, and this will take 2 minutes to arrive. So essentially what I've done, I'm going to speed up like the footage you'll see in the background here, but basically I kind of wait around. You can't wait in one spot for too long, because that will then encourage either bug breaches or bot drops, so more enemies will come after you. So the idea is to kind of keep slowly but surely moving around the outer edge of the map, stopping occasionally in places for short bursts of time if you can, and that's where you can use, you know, like the smoke strikes or any other airstrikes or anything to potentially protect you or clear out other dangerous threats. And then once the timer gets to 0 and the extraction ship is going to come in, one of the things I find it very useful to do is if you mark the extraction zone on the map. Now, I'm specifically wearing light armor for this mission, which, although, you know, that makes it a little bit more dangerous because it's easier to get killed, I can maneuver a little bit quicker, have a little bit more stamina. But the bonus ability of the light armor is that when you place down a pin on the map, it will occasionally blip and show you enemy like red dots around it, which means you can kind of see what's going on at the extraction zone and if it is indeed busy or potentially even overrun with enemies. And so that gives you a little bit more intel when it comes to making your escape. So basically I survive, wait for the inbound shuttle, slowly work my way back around to where it's going to drop in, and then as the countdown nears to 0 and then even reaches 0, I'm turning the corner here, making my way to the shuttle. The shuttle lands on the landing pad. I only have to clear out. I got quite lucky. It's not super swamped. Well, it's not really very heavy enemy populated at all. Take out a couple of stray robots with a grenade, and then I'm able to casually just run straight into the back of the ship and extract safely. Now, of course, you can see from the results coming up at the end of the screen here, you don't get a lot of XP or any points or anything like that. Also, this does technically count towards another failed mission for the campaign. So in terms of spreading democracy, you know, I'll be branded a traitor by Super Earth, I'm sure, because this leads to us losing the campaign on this planet. So if you can do this multiplayer with a team, you can obviously get someone to grab the samples and then just complete the mission. And then in the 15 minutes or less, depending how long it takes you to actually finish the mission, you can get out with the samples and actually contribute towards the, you know, forces of humanity actually winning the campaign on the planet. But as you can see, solo, very difficult to do that. So you fail the mission, but you can see here we get our 3 super samples at the end of the mission. Load back into the ship, and actually this was the last mission. I had 8 before this, so this was the last mission that I had to do in order to get the 0G breach loading, for which I needed 10 super samples, and that reduces the cooldown time of things like the orbital laser and the orbital like rail cannon strike, stuff that is definitely very, very useful to use in the harder difficulties. So there you go, fairly straightforward strategy. Now it can go wrong. Like I say, when attempting to record this, it did take me 2 attempts, because as I went to run to where the extraction ship was, it was just absolutely swamped with enemies, and unfortunately when it comes to bots, I was just killed from long range by rockets. So when one of these missions comes up and it's on a bug planet, it will be significantly easier to do, because whilst you can of course still get swarmed and get torn to shreds, it's less likely that you're going to get killed from a distance, and you can try and very quickly maneuver your way through the enemies to the dropship. You could also use the jetpack. Of course, against bugs, you're not necessarily going to need the shield as much to deal with ranged attacks, but of course it will protect you from some melee attacks as well. But yeah, against bugs, you could definitely use the jetpack, and then that last little burst to get you towards the ship at the end to extract will certainly be very, very useful. But yeah, there you go. Rather than having to go through an entire long mission where you can potentially get, I mean, you can of course potentially die here too, but instead of going through a long mission, this will literally be 17 minutes, right? 15 minutes till the mission timer runs out, 2 minutes till the extraction ship drops in, and then you get in. I think by the time I'd completed the mission, I'd probably killed less than what, like maybe less than 20 enemies in total, and then you get those 3 super samples. So fairly straightforward way to solo grind. If you do have a group of people to play with, obviously it's much more fun just doing the missions on Suicide Mission and getting the samples during the course of the mission. Remember to keep an eye out for this grey or silver rock sort of formation on the map, because this is always where you will find the super samples on difficulties 7, 8 and 9. So even when you're playing in groups of friends and just playing properly, not to farm, just to beat the missions and stuff, keep an eye out for this on the map, because this is where you will find the super samples. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Let me know if you try this out and have decent luck with it. I've done it a couple of times now, so getting the samples and getting some of those better upgrades certainly makes it a lot easier to take on the harder difficulty missions. So let me know all your thoughts down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, citizens. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Hopefully I'll see you on a Helldivers stream sometime soon, and keep on spreading that democracy. Peace out.